All right, let's talk about something that sounds a bit like science fiction for the office. We're calling it HR's new crystal ball. And no, it's not about magic, it's all about data and how it can predict the future of a workforce. Let's get into it.
So let me just throw this out there. What if your HR department could actually predict who's about to hand in their resignation? I know it sounds a little out there, right? But it brings up a huge question. Is that creepy, or is it an absolute game changer for how we build companies?
Well, there's a name for this, and it's called Predictive HR Analytics. The core idea is actually pretty simple, but whoa, is it powerful? It's all about using data to get a glimpse into the future of your workforce before it actually happens. And look, it's not about spying. A better way to think about it is like a weather forecast, but for your team's morale. This really lays out the massive shift we're talking about. Traditional HR, a lot of it was guesswork, right? You were always reacting to problems after they happened. But predictive HR completely flips the script. Instead of just guessing, you're driven by data. Instead of reacting late, you're acting early. And maybe the biggest change of all, you move from just solving problems to actually preventing them. We're talking a total overhaul in strategy. So how in the world does this actually work? Well, we're not talking about tracking every single keystroke or anything like that. It's way more sophisticated. It's all about analyzing these subtle patterns in how people work and collaborate to find the clues that are hiding in plain sight. So what are these AI models really looking for? They're digging for signals. Things like a sudden drop in performance, maybe less engagement on company chat platforms, or fewer interactions with teammates, even sudden changes in work habits. These aren't judgments, you see, they're just data points. But when you put them all together, they start to tell a pretty interesting story. The process itself is pretty straightforward, just a clear three-step flow. First, the system crunches all that behavioral data. Then, the AI gets to work, identifying these hidden patterns that a person would almost certainly miss. And finally, it spits out what's called an attrition risk score for each employee. You can think of it like a percentage chance, or maybe a red, yellow, green light that signals how likely they are to leave soon. It's about turning a whole lot of noise into one clear signal. And here's the crucial part. This isn't about finding out someone is leaving after they've already made up their mind. No way. The real power here is spotting those warning signs long before an employee even thinks about dusting off their resume. It is all about early intervention. And honestly, just predicting who might leave, that's really only the tip of the iceberg. This same predictive approach can be used to see all sorts of things happening just beneath the surface, right across the entire organization. Now, this is where it gets really, really powerful. Beyond just turnover, these analytics can forecast who's on track to become a top performer, so you can invest in them early. It can spot which teams are showing signs of burnout and might struggle with the next big project, which gives you time to support them. And get this, it can even predict where you'll have leadership gaps a year from now, so you can start developing that next generation of leaders today. Okay, so what do you do with all these predictions? Well, this is the payoff, right? It lets HR stop playing defense and become truly strategic, stepping in to retain that top talent, coaching employees who might be struggling, and preventing problems before they even start. This is exactly what shifts HR from being just a support function to a real strategic partner. This quote really serves as a powerful call to action for anybody in this field. The era of just generating backward-looking reports, that's over. The future is about using data proactively to make smarter, more informed, and frankly, more compassionate decisions about your people. So, to kind of sum it all up, we're really watching a transformation happen right before our eyes. The future of building and managing great teams isn't going to be based on gut feelings or guesswork anymore. It's going to be driven by prediction. The real question for leaders isn't if they'll use this data, but how they'll use it to build stronger, more supportive teams. Now that's the real challenge ahead. This explainer was based on some great insights from Bodic Learning. You should follow them for more. Thanks for watching.